Hi, everybody. We are on the Unlisted map, and we are in Joshua Tree, California. It is a very, very desert town. But today we are actually going somewhere fun and interesting. Something that it was completely off the map. So much so that Apple doesn't even have it on its map. And we'll be driving for a few more minutes, probably. Oh wow, there's a Airstream Park. We are actually going to be driving for another hour and 12 minutes. And we're actually heading to Camp Iron Mountain. So stick around. Hello, and welcome to the Unlisted Map. I'm so glad you're here. Today, we are kicking off an incredible 3-part high and low desert history series. In episode 1, we explore General Patton's Desert Training Center and search for the hidden legacy of Black service members who trained right here in the California sand. In episode 2, we head down to Palm Springs to honor the legendary Tuskegee Airmen and uncover the history of Section 14. And in episode 3, we return to the low desert to retackle those desert trails and take you along as I actually ride in an authentic World War II tank. But as you see today, when it comes to mapping the unlisted past, history doesn't always cooperate. Sometimes it's buried, lost, or just plain hard to reach. We drove out into Riverside County to reach Camp Iron Mountain, only to be turned back by graded berms before reaching the famous stone altar built by Patton's troops. And when we searched for archived records on the Buffalo Soldier and the 93rd Infantry Division, the trail proved just as elusive. But that's why we're on this journey, to search for the stories that almost got left behind. So grab a glass, subscribe, and let's go explore. Cheers. When we set out on this trip, the mission was clear.
Seriously, I wonder what that shed's doing out there by
Original
itself.
Buffalo Soldiers, right here into the high desert sand. We wanted to see how the legendary 9th and 10th Cavalry and the 24th and 25th Infantry, the men who built the roads, protected the trails, and tamed this wild frontier, laid the groundwork for the modern military. To understand what happened in the California desert in 1942, we have to look back to 1866. Right after the Civil War, Congress passed the Army Reorganization Act, establishing 6 all-black peacetime regiments, the 9th, 10th Cavalry, and the 38th, 39th, 40th, and 41st Infantry. These men weren't sent to comfortable barracks back east. They were deployed straight to the harshest frontier of the American West. They guarded telephone lines, protected stagecoach routes, mapped millions of acres of uncharted territory, and built military outposts across Texas, Arizona, and New Mexico. When they clashed with indigenous nations across the plains, those native warriors saw something extraordinary. Men whose dark, curly hair resembled the mane of the sacred bison. Fighting with an unyielding, relentless spirit, they bestowed upon them the name Buffalo Soldiers, a title of high honor that the 10th Cavalry proudly placed on their official crest. For decades, these men faced a dual battle, earning distinction on the battlefield while confronting systemic prejudice from the very nation they served. When you map the unlisted past, you quickly learn that history doesn't always come with a neat signpost. Walking to the museum of the Chiriaco Summit, searching for direct records on those early Buffalo Soldiers felt like chasing dust in a windstorm. There were no designated panels, no archived files on display, and no clear trail to follow. But just because a story isn't on a plaque doesn't mean it doesn't happen here. In fact, that silence is the true story itself. As horse cavalry gave way to steel and horsepower in World War II, the legacy of those frontier soldiers didn't disappear, it evolved. And right here in this brutal Mojave heat, two historic, segregated black divisions picked up that mantle at Patton's Desert Training Center, the 92nd and the 93rd Infantry. The 92nd literally carrying the mantle as the Buffalo Division, with their iconic bison patch, and the 93rd, known as the Blue Helmets from their World War I service alongside the French. Both divisions brought thousands of men into these desert camps. They weren't just training for combat in the Pacific and Europe, they were doing the heavy, grueling work that kept the DTC running, building supply lines, guarding vital aqueducts, and enduring the same brutal 120-degree heat that Patton used to test his men. These proved that the endurance of the frontier buffalo soldier was alive and well in a new generation. So, Camp Young, surrounded by a perimeter of historic Camp Young, in early April of 42, troops began arriving. Extreme climates varied from 130 in the summer to winter temperatures of near freezing. Rattlesnakes and scorpions crawled into sleeping rolls and boots. Water was rationed to 1 canteen per day, while the men trained for combat under the desert sun. The harsh environment taught them how to survive in North Africa. And here is the map. See, this is Camp Iron Mountain. So the training center bled in from California to Nevada and into Arizona. All right, so we're going to try this again. We actually were on um, the road. This road we thought we were supposed to be on for to get to Camp Iron. Um,
We thought wrong.
but we got to the middle of the GPS direction, and there was nothing there. We can see it, so we're going to try a different direction. Well, this is another one for the Unlisted map. We were unable to get to Camp Iron Mountain. We could see it. We could not get to it. The dirt road that we were previously on, that you guys saw, actually was we were not supposed to be on that road. And just a guy had mentioned that it looked like they had put up a berm to the access road from where we were.
They graded the power line road.
They graded right. So that being said, we are actually going to head over to the George Patton Museum. It's actually the Chiriaco Summit, just outside of Palm Springs. So stick around, folks. Out here in the Mojave, Patton built the largest military training ground in the world, over 18,000 square miles of unforgiving desert. But reaching these sites today is a completely different story. Our plan was to reach Camp Iron Mountain to see the famous stone cathedral altar built by Patton's troops. But after hitting a wall of granite BLM berms and washed out trails, the desert won this round. and because of these delays, our shots at reaching Camp Coxcomb and Camp Granite vanished with the afternoon heat. But that's the reality of tracing unlisted history. Sometimes the roads are closed and the camps are buried and the map gives out. All right, you guys, so we have made it to the Patton Museum out in Chiriaco Canyon, and it is 112. Just the guy, you have a mic so you can speak.
Oh yeah,
Oh my gosh. What was the name of his dog?
I can't remember.
Gosh.
Do not remember.
So what does it say?
I just think it's cool. It's got track pants.
That is cool.
Track shoes.
Anheuser-Busch wholesalers, Barstow. Oh, okay. Doesn't say. These are donors, I believe. So
Yeah.
these would be donors.
Donator Army World War II served under General Pat. Career, unit, career. Wow.
Oh, here we go. All right, way over your shoulder. The memoriam.
California Society Order of America memorialized all compatriots who answered the call to arms. Veterans Day, 11 November 1996. Dedicated to honor the men of the 62nd Artillery Battalion for their service to our country with undying love.
Felt like the day was defined by dead ends. We turned the corner inside the Patton Museum at Chiriaco Summit and found the highlight of the trip. Tucked inside the hall was an exhibit dedicated to the legendary 761st Tank Battalion, the Black Panthers. While the 92nd and the 93rd Infantry was holding down the desert camps and logistics, the men of the 761st were breaking ground at the military's first black armored unit. Patton himself famously told the 761st, "I don't care what color you are, so long as you go up there and kill those Kraut sons of bitches." They went to fight for 183 consecutive days in Europe, earning a Presidential Unit Citation. Finding their story displayed here brought this entire search full circle, from the frontier infantry to the mechanized desert divisions, right into the heavy armor that helped win World War II. "761st Tank Battalion, the Black Panthers. Men, you're the first Negro tankers to fight in the American Army. I would have never asked for you. If you weren't good, I have nothing but the best in the Army. I don't care what color you are, as long as you can go up there and kill the Kraut and son of..." Everyone has their eyes on you and is expecting great things from you. Don't let them down, and damn you, don't let me down, Patton. And Patton did have the first all-black tank battalion, and they were the 761st. They even received a presidential citation for extraordinary heroism, was presented to the 761st Tank Battalion for their efforts from October of 1944 through May of 45 by President Jimmy Carter on April 10, 1978. All right, so we are going to be walking through the tanks. It is warm, fellas, peoples. So I do not know how long we are going to be out here. It says keep off tanks.
Keep out of all vehicles.
Now, they do offer, the gentleman, the director, his name was Andrew, and he was giving us some information about some upcoming events. And you can actually ride in a tank. So I'm coming back this fall because they offer them from October through May.
Yes, I'm just trying to get you in a tank. What's an M5 I never thought I'd see one of these. M60 here. A lot bigger than you think they are, aren't they?
No, they are just big, period. Doesn't matter.
A lot of M60s here, actually. They have little plaques on them, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one there. It was donated by a family. Apparently, their father drove it and he had a bronze star.
Oh, wow.
So you can see it right there.
Oh, okay.
Nice, 47.
This is a medium M47.
Patton tank.
It says Patton year 1952. Now, this museum recently opened back up. It was closed because of COVID. And Andrew said it was opened when?
He didn't give me an exact date, but he said it was pretty recent. I don't remember how long exactly. The N578. If I had my job back then, this is probably what I'd be doing.
Desert Center, California, Arizona maneuver area.
Quote from Lawrence Bryan again. That's a deuce and a half. That's the potable water tank. We still use these.
Is that for potty?
No, that's for drinking.
Oh.
Portable water trailer. We had potable water and then we had regular water ones.
Okay.
So, yes, there's the deuce and a half command room. Missing that set of pulleys though. There it is, nonetheless. Here the stop, I guess.
Now I hope you guys are not having problems hearing us because there is a slight breeze, which is nice because it is hot as Hades out here.
And telephone trailer. Oh, those are the pole trailers. Huh. Can't say I've seen that in my career. Yes. Riding the back of one of these is always comfortable.
It don't look comfortable.
It ain't. You're elbow to elbow with your battle buddies and stuff. It's uncomfortable. Even in the current 5 tons. And now the LMTVs are still bumpy.
And then it's out here in the desert sun, just baking.
I'm surprised it's pink. What the heck is that the remains of? I don't know what that carcass is.
I don't know either. What is this?
This here?
Yes.
Another deuce.
Another deuce and a half.
That's also a deuce and a half. Hard top.
Deuce and halves were the workhorse of the Army.
Logistics Command.
If you guys remember my...
It's not something you... Maybe I didn't look in the right spot, or it's just not something that was widely put out there for people to learn about.
Again, that's the unlisted map.
So, Very interesting.
A lot of things were unlisted. Now, this is what we attempted to go and look at out at Camp Iron Mountain. This is a replica. I'm going to try standing in the shade of this palm tree and get you guys a picture. That is pretty cool.
I didn't see that thing he was telling me about. Did I miss it?
So Patton had the 766th in North Africa.
Oh, it's that trailer.
Oh, we can't go up that way. Hi, and welcome to the Unlisted Pairing. I hope you enjoyed today's story about the Patton Museum and the 761st, as well as the Buffalo Soldiers. I wanted to pair tonight's story with One Hope's, her story, Primitivo. It's an Italian red wine with the notes and flavors of violet, dark cherry, and mocha. But I'm also pairing it tonight with barbecue. The smokiness of the barbecue ribs and this chicken pairs so well with the earthiness of this Primitivo. I'm also pairing it with the story because of the grittiness and of the hard work that the men of the 761st endured, as well as the Buffalo Soldiers, who were the first to be part of the Army. And they were actually out there. The 93rd Infantry was actually out there at the Desert Training Center. I hope you, again, enjoyed this story, and I hope you find a wine that fits your story. I hope to see you guys soon in the next Unlisted Map. Bye.